A heated showdown unfolds as Madeleine Dean challenges Howard Lutnick over Epstein connections and alleged profiteering tied to tariff policies.
Mrs. Dean?
Thank you, Chairman Rogers, Ranking Member Meng, Ranking Member DeLauro. Good afternoon, Secretary Lutnick. Last Tuesday, I had the chance to attend a breakfast for RAIN, the Rape, Abuse, Incest National Network. It was their Congressional Day of Action. Survivors came to me, told me their horrific stories, and the survivors I spoke with had one message. They're seeking accountability and justice. After speaking with the survivors, I again went to the Department of Justice to review the unredacted Epstein files, to seek accountability and justice for the victims, the more than 1,000 victims and survivors. And today, Secretary Lutnick, I have some questions for you about what I saw. Let's start with your relationship with sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. In October, you told the New York Post with colorful narration that the last time you saw Jeffrey Epstein was in 2005 when you took a tour of his house, which happened to be right next door to yours. You claim you and your wife were so grossed out by this disgusting person, you swore you would never go back. But when the Epstein files came out, it turned out that was a lie. You were forced to admit that you had visited Epstein's private island in 2012, 4 years after Epstein pled guilty soliciting a minor for prostitution and was labeled a sex offender. You brought along your wife, your kids, your nannies to the predator's island. Incredibly poor judgment. But that even wasn't the whole truth. It turns out that 5 days after visiting his island, you and Epstein signed a business deal together. As co-investors in a digital advertising company, AdFin, an email showed you stayed in touch with Epstein about this deal as late as 2018. Secretary Lutnick, why did you lie to the New York Post about your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein? Oh, I did hear that. Please don't repeat your gracious offer to speak behind closed doors, not under oath, without the ability of this committee to question you. The American people wants to know, why did you lie about your relationship with Epstein?
The House Oversight Committee and I have agreed
we
will spend the time
reclaiming
together.
My time. I do not accept that answer. We've heard that one. We are our own committee. We have our own reason to test your credibility and veracity. Please answer the question. Why did you lie to the Post?
I have voluntarily agreed to spend the time and talk about it.
I reclaim the time. Let the record reflect you're dodging the question. The cover-up continues. You know what? In your conversations with the president, is the president concerned about your continued relationships that you had with Mr. Epstein as recently as 2018?
I'm not going to discuss conversations I have with the president. That is not something I'm going to do.
If you remember in that interview, you said you would never be in the room with him socially, for business, or even philanthropy. President Trump has just fired 3 cabinet secretaries, 3 women, Kristi Noem, Pam Bondi, Lori Chavez DeRemer. If President Trump has even a shred of concern about accountability for Jeffrey Epstein's enablers, he would fire you too. Beyond AdFin, what other financial ties do you have to Jeffrey Epstein?
As I said, I'm going to answer all these
Beyond
questions.
AdFin, what other financial ties? You're the Commerce Secretary. We have a right to ask this question and get it answered.
Again, I'm not going to spend the budget day discussing something. I've set aside time to spend on this topic.
I'm going to switch topics. Let me switch topics. A different and equally disturbing issue, how your family is profiting from your work as Commerce Secretary. Let's start with tariffs. You and the president illegally imposed the highest tariffs on the American people since the Great Depression. And your sons figured out how to profit from the high tariffs by buying up refund rights, pennies on the dollar, just as you were out there cheerleading the tariffs. As a result, federal taxpayers like my constituents may now owe your family tens of or hundreds of millions of dollars. I wonder if President Trump is concerned about you and your family profiteering off the illegal tariffs.
You know that is false. Here's reporting. I'd like to put it in the record. Howard Lutnick's old firm did not, in fact, profit from Supreme Court tariff ruling. It is just not true.
It's your sons. The
No,
reporting
his
is
old firm and my sons. It is not
Mr. Chairman,
true.
reclaiming my time.
No, it's not true.
I have
it's
asked
not true.
Mr. Chairman, reclaiming about 20 seconds. I hope you recognize how fundamentally wrong and corrupt this is. I hope you take accountability and have the decency to resign before you are fired.
It's not true.
I yield.
Time of the gentlelady has expired.
From the outset, Madeleine Dean approached the hearing with a clear objective: to demand accountability. By referencing her interaction with survivors, she anchored her questions in real-world consequences, making it clear that this was not just a political exchange but a matter of justice and truth. Her questioning quickly zeroed in on Lutnick's past statements about Jeffrey Epstein. Dean laid out a timeline that appeared to contradict his earlier claims, pressing him to explain why key details about visits and business dealings had not been disclosed. Lutnick's reluctance to answer directly only heightened the tension in the room. As the exchange intensified, Dean repeatedly pushed back against attempts to delay or redirect the discussion. Her persistence reflected a broader frustration often seen in congressional hearings, where direct answers can be difficult to obtain. This dynamic created a sharp contrast between her assertive questioning and Lutnick's guarded responses. The conversation then pivoted to allegations surrounding tariff policies and potential financial gain. Dean suggested that decisions affecting the broader economy may have also created opportunities for personal benefit. Lutnick rejected the claims outright, calling them inaccurate, but the accusations added another layer of controversy to the hearing. Ultimately, the hearing showcased a deeper divide over trust and accountability in government. Dean's aggressive questioning and Lutnick's firm denials left key issues unresolved, reinforcing the ongoing debate about transparency, ethics, and the responsibilities of public officials.